The first time James Taylor saw the alien, he thought he was hallucinating. He had been lost in the endless dunes of the Martian desert for nearly 14 hours, the sun bleeding out behind the horizon and his oxygen meter blinking a merciless red. His mission had gone wrong in every possible way. Communications down, rover overturned, his team dead or missing. He had resigned himself to the silence. Then, something shimmered in the corner of his cracked visor. At first it looked like dust, just another trick of the light. But then it moved, darting behind a rock, quick and deliberate. James froze, heart hammering. "No," he muttered to himself. "Not now. I'm not seeing things." He crouched, squinting into the reddish twilight. The shimmer flickered again. Slowly, carefully, he crawled forward. The sand hissed beneath his gloves, his oxygen alarms pulsing in rhythm with his heart. He rounded the rock and gasped. It wasn't a hallucination. It was her. She stood no taller than his hand, barely 6 inches high, her skin the color of luminous pearl dust. Her enormous eyes glowed faintly violet, and she wore a crystalline suit that refracted the dying sunlight into a spectrum of fragile colors. Her delicate wings, if they could be called that, fluttered behind her, catching motes of dust like sparks. And she was trembling. When she saw him, she let out a piercing musical cry that echoed through his comms, though he hadn't activated the mic. "Please don't eat me, human," she shouted, her tiny voice clear and terrified. James blinked in stunned silence. "Eat you," he repeated dumbly. "What? No, I'm not. Wait, how can you speak English?" She flinched as he spoke, darting backward into the shadow of the rock. "You are one of the great devourers. We've seen what your kind does. You consume worlds, rip open the earth, and drown it in fire." James raised both hands slowly, palms outward. "Easy. I don't know what you've seen, but I'm not here to hurt anyone." Her voice was trembling now, half curiosity and half fear. "You destroyed my home's sister moons centuries ago. Call it terraforming." He sighed, lowering his arms. "Then I guess humanity hasn't made a great first impression." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The Martian wind howled between them, carrying the dry whisper of dust. Then the alien took a cautious step forward. Her violet eyes flicked to the cracked oxygen gauge on his chest plate. "Your air runs thin," she said softly. "You will die." He nodded grimly. "Yeah, I was aware." Another pause. Then she fluttered her wings and hovered up to eye level, her expression torn between distrust and something like pity. "Follow," she said finally. "But do not touch anything." And with that, she darted into the darkness. James stumbled after her, his suit scraping against the rock as she led him through a narrow fissure in the Martian surface. The air grew cooler, the light dimmer. His head swam with exhaustion, and more than once he wondered if he'd collapsed somewhere in the dunes and was dreaming all of this. Then the tunnel opened and the world changed. Below him stretched a vast subterranean cavern filled with light. Thousands of glowing crystals pulsed in rhythmic harmony, forming towers, bridges, and spires that seemed alive. Tiny figures like his alien guide flitted between them, carrying small orbs of shimmering liquid, singing in delicate harmonies that vibrated through the air. A hidden civilization, right beneath humanity's boots. James exhaled, breath fogging his visor. This is incredible." The alien turned, hovering near his shoulder. "We are the Lithari," she said. "We live where the light does not burn and the sand does not kill." Her gaze softened slightly. "I am Elora." "James," he said. "NASA, the United Earth Space Agency. We came to explore." Ellora's eyes narrowed. Explore or conquer? He hesitated. Both, maybe. That earned a frown, but she didn't answer. Instead, she gestured to the glowing city. You will come. Our elders will decide your fate. The council chamber was shaped like a hollowed geode, walls alive with shifting light, the air thick with a sound that wasn't quite music but felt like it. Dozens of Lithari gathered around him, their eyes glowing brighter than the crystals. James knelt awkwardly, his bulky suit dwarfing them. The oldest among them floated forward, wings translucent as glass. You breathe poison and carry death in your veins, the elder intoned, voice echoing like a chorus. Why have you come to the sleeping world? James swallowed. To learn. To find a way to live beyond Earth. To understand. Understand. Another elder hissed. Your kind understands only destruction. He could feel their fear, their anger. And honestly, he couldn't blame them. Then Ellora stepped forward. He was dying, she said quietly. He did not strike me down when I revealed myself. He spoke gently. I believe he is different. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. The eldest Lithari's gaze softened, barely. If you speak truth, Ellora, then you will bear the burden of him. Should he bring harm, his death shall be yours as well. Ellora froze, wings twitching. I accept. James turned to her sharply. Wait, what? You can't. But the decision had been made. Days passed. The Lithari gave him air, some kind of microcrystal filter that embedded itself in his suit, and small vials of glowing fluid that restored his oxygen supply. He stayed among them, repairing parts of his suit, learning what he could. Ellora became his guide, his translator, his reluctant companion. They spent hours walking through crystalline corridors, where bioluminescent vines pulsed like veins. She explained how the Lithari harnessed the energy of sound and light, turning vibrations into power. Their entire civilization sang, literally, to keep itself alive. One evening, as the soft blue glow of their world shimmered around them, James asked, You really thought I was going to eat you? Ellora tilted her head. Humans are enormous. You descend upon planets, consume resources, leave wastelands. To us, that is feeding. He laughed softly. I guess from your perspective, it would look that way. She frowned. Do you not see it yourself? You tear apart the stars and call it progress. James looked down at his gloves. Yeah, he admitted quietly. I do see it. But it's not all like that. We build too. We create art, music, life. We just don't always balance it well. Her gaze softened. Balance, she echoed. We have no word for greed in our language. We have only need. He smiled faintly. Maybe that's what we've lost. Weeks passed. Against all logic, James began to feel at home in the crystal caverns. Ellora taught him their songs, low, resonant hums that could make the crystals bloom like living coral. In return, he taught her about Earth. Oceans, trees, rain. She was fascinated by the concept of rain. One sky gives water to all, she asked one night, hovering near his shoulder as he described it. Yeah, he said. It falls from the clouds. Feeds everything. Ellora's eyes glimmered. We have no sky. He hesitated, then smiled. Maybe one day you'll see it. Her wings shimmered faintly. Perhaps. But beneath their growing friendship, tension brewed above ground. Human probes detected unusual energy readings from the Martian crust. Command back on Earth began drilling operations. Deep, powerful sonic drills that cut into the subterranean strata. The Lithari felt it first. Their crystal towers began to flicker. The music faltered. Elora collapsed mid-flight, clutching her chest as vibrations tore through the chamber. James rushed to her side. "Elora! What's happening?" She gasped, her voice weak. "Your kind is waking the deep song. The foundations will shatter." He froze. "Oh no! The drills!" He sprinted to the surface, Elora clinging weakly to his shoulder. The sandstorm outside tore at his suit, but he could see it, the distant plume of dust where the drills had broken through. He opened his comm channel, praying the signal still worked. "This is Commander James Taylor, ID 72A. Abort drilling immediately. You're destabilizing a subterranean biome." Static answered him. Then a voice, distant and cold. "Commander Taylor, you've been presumed dead for 32 days. Identify your coordinates. No time. You're going to destroy a living civilization down here." There was silence, then laughter, short, disbelieving. "A civilization. Commander, your vitals are compromised. You're hallucinating." He gritted his teeth. "Damn it, listen to me. They're alive, intelligent." The comm cut out. His power cells flickered. And in the distance, the drill detonated. The shock wave ripped through the desert like a scream. The ground split open, fissures glowing with light. James stumbled backward as a wave of energy shot skyward, followed by a sound unlike anything human ears were meant to hear. A chorus of millions crying in pain. He turned to see Elora clutching her chest, wings crumpled. "The harmony is breaking," she whispered. "They are dying." "No." He scooped her into his hands, shielding her from falling debris. "We'll stop it. I promise." "You cannot," she said faintly. "The deep song, once broken, cannot be mended." He looked around, desperate. "Maybe not your way, but maybe mine." Dragging himself back into the caverns, James found the Lithari city collapsing. Crystals shattered like glass. Songs dissolved into shrieks. The elders floated weakly, their light fading. Elora stirred in his palm. "The Heartstone," she rasped. "It anchors us all. If it dies, we die." "Where?" She pointed weakly toward a massive pillar of light deep in the cavern's core. James ran. The path trembled beneath him. Shards rained down like meteors. When he reached the Heartstone, he froze. It was fracturing, fissures crawling through its glowing surface. He knew what he had to do. He tore the power core from his suit, a miniature nuclear cell meant for emergencies, and jammed it into the Heartstone's base. Warnings blared through his helmet. Meltdown imminent. Elora's voice cried out in his mind. "What are you doing? You'll die." He smiled weakly. "Maybe. But if this works, you won't." The stone pulsed once, twice, and then erupted in light. He remembered only fragments after that. Voices, singing, the weightlessness of falling, then silence. When he woke, the cavern was whole again. The crystals glowed steady and strong, the air alive with gentle hums. Elora stood beside him, her wings mended, her eyes shimmering with tears. "You live," she whispered. "So do you," he croaked. She smiled faintly. "The Heartstone accepted your gift. Sings with new energy now. Different but pure." He tried to sit up. His suit was ruined, power gone. "Guess I'm not going home anytime soon." Elora floated closer. "You gave your life for us. Why?" He looked at her, exhaustion softening his voice. "Because maybe it's time humans started giving back." She placed a tiny hand against his cheekplate. "Then perhaps. You are not monsters after all." Months passed. The surface mission above collapsed, literally. Without power, the drills ceased. The crew withdrew. Mars fell silent once more. Below, the Litheri rebuilt stronger than before, their harmony now infused with a strange human energy. James lived among them, his ruined suit converted into a shelter and lab. His body weakened from lack of earth air, but he endured. Elora visited daily. Together they walked beneath the living crystals, their reflections mingling in the light. One evening she asked, "Do you ever wish you had not come here?" He thought about it. The lost team. Pain. The impossible beauty of this place. "No," he said softly. "Because I met you." She smiled. "And I you, human." Then she looked up toward the unseen surface. "Your people will come again." He nodded. "They always do." Her wings shimmered faintly. "When they do, will you stop them?" He smiled, faint but certain. "I'll try." Years later, deep in the Martian caverns, the Litheri sang a new song, a hymn that carried through the crystals and into the dust above. And somewhere in the thin atmosphere, a faint signal pulsed across the void. We are not alone. And we are not what they think we are. On Earth, decades later, scientists would detect the transmission and debate its origin endlessly. But beneath the red sands, James and Elora knew the truth. A monster had come to Mars and left behind a friend.